On our way home from Turkey, we crossed the Aegean Sea to Athens. Here, roughly 2.5 hours northwest of the Greek capital, is another half-forgotten railway gem. The 21st century is full of information on virtually every subject, which can be a bit daunting for any aspiring commentator. You can therefore imagine my thrill when I realized that a subject I take great interest in is hardly mentioned even among the most dedicated railway enthusiasts. And with that in mind, I present my last segment of the year on the Orient Express.
Well, December 31st, 2022, last day of the year, beautiful weather. We're just 130 kilometers west of Athens, and this will be my last art excursion. It certainly looks like a great day for that sort of thing. It might sound a bit ominous, but I'm about to visit a graveyard. This will be another one of those fact-finding missions, just documenting everything. I'll certainly try to make one or two sketches today. Gosh, I hope we're right. Amfikleia is the name of the station.
In the shadow of Mount Parnassus in this pastureland lies Amfikleia, a small town serviced by only 2 trains per day at the most, and after a careful study of the timetables, I was confident that I would get my connecting train back to Athens in the evening hours, just in time to celebrate the new year.
So this is it. So we're in the middle of nowhere. Amfikleia. Hear how quiet everything is. I hope the dogs are friendly. Hey there. How are you? So this is the graveyard. Look at all these nuts and bolts. Maybe this used to be a workshop. I guess I have to mind my step before I go any further, but there was a very friendly lady that told me that the car is somewhere here, further down the track. Oh, that's nice. We're followed by a very friendly pup. Oh. Speaking of which, I have to mind the dog shit here. Pardon my French.
Jordan Mechner, the creator of the hugely successful game Prince of Persia, also gave us The Last Express, a game set entirely on the Orient Express as it would have appeared before the outbreak of World War I in 1914. As part of pre-production, Jordan and his team visited what is believed to be the only surviving sleeper car of the pre-war generation, when cars were made of wood, with this one dating back to 1912. When the video was made, the car was still in decent condition sitting in an Athenian railway yard before it was transported to Amfikleia some 15 years ago. Not many people are aware of the car or its current location, and while Amfikleia is associated with a railway graveyard, which usually means bad news, I still wanted to find out for myself what happened to the old car.
It's that very last hurdle that's the most difficult. Damn. Everything's overgrown with thorns. Oh man, that's it. Look. Oh man. They warned me ahead of time what it would look like, but man, there's nothing like reality hitting you head on.
Out there in the cold, I saw my worst fears confirmed. Almost 30 years had taken their toll, and what once gleamed with polished teak and brass was reduced to an inaccessible ruin. Peering into the car felt more like being on a submarine expedition to the Titanic wreck, and just about as old. A rather sad and anticlimactic end to a great fact-finding mission through Eastern Europe. The old sleeper cars seem lost to the history books, but the dining cars still survive in various forms, most notable perhaps the National Railway Museum in Budapest, where they not only preserve, but keep this original dining car running on special excursions. This is what an Orient Express car would have looked like in its heyday. One thing I recall very clearly from my visit to Budapest was the smell of the car. The strong odor of the leather upholstery, and something one might describe as a blend between an antique and a coffee shop. It must be said that while there is no evidence that these railway cars in existence today were actually used by the original Orient Express route, they were all nevertheless built to the same specifications according to the CIWL. I can't help but think what would have become of the old passenger car if just a little more attention was paid to it. If you compare that to this car that has an entire roundhouse section all to itself, while other museum exhibits are outside the building, it just goes to show what an ironic twist of fate this really is. For a train that was once known far and wide as the king of the trains. So, this is it. I first saw videos of this one 30 years ago. They said it was just somewhere outside of Athens. No one specified anything. But 30 years of winter seasons have taken their toll. I mean, my God. I also feel like this could have been saved for posterity in a more dignified way. I mean, I heard that it was in a bad condition, but I never thought that it was anything like this. You just want, you just want to help in some way. I wish I could take this one back home with me and store it like in Jay Leno's garage, but oh man, this one is gonna fall to bits. The last of the Orient Express style sleeper cars spraying World War I. Despite the solemn occasion, it felt very peaceful that day. It was an eerie sense of calm that I haven't felt in many years. Usually when I draw or paint, my creations are always accompanied by music, but this was different. I guess I was so overwhelmed by the experience that I decided not to listen to any music at all for a change and concentrate entirely on the drawing. Here I sat, hyper-focused for hours, hovering over my sketchbook, and just soaking up the ambient noises that surrounded me. After 4.5 hours, the drawing was finished. I was very surprised with the result, and I can say confidently that this was probably the best railway sketch I ever made. Well, this is it. It's getting cold. Gotta put on my jacket. I got finished in the nick of time. Just a few minutes before my train back to Athens arrives. The only train of the day. I'm gonna miss this one. What a treat. Bittersweet. Gosh. The only remaining sleeper car of the old CIWL. I can't believe I've spent so many hours here. They've gone by so fast. Now, I have to walk back the same path through the thorns. Darn it. But, yeah. That's that. I may have actually found an alternative entrance. That's nice. I feared I may have walked all the way back through the thorns and whatnot. This is much better. And here are the dogs. Right, back to the station. Oh, did you change your mind? Huh? You want to play, don't you? Come on. Oh, you're adorable. Oh. Despite my best efforts and the assurance of the railway staff, I waited for the train in vain. After 40 minutes, the owner of these lovely dogs then told me that there was no return train that came through Amfikleia that day, and kindly arranged a taxi to take me to the nearest connecting town, Tittheria, about 10 kilometers away. In total, it took me an additional 3 hours to get back to Athens, just in time to celebrate the start of the new year at the foot of the Acropolis. As for these dogs, they certainly lifted my spirits, and I hope to see them again at some point in the future.